Make govannen, niblings. Let's play LotRO. Episode 41. What's going on here? Wow. So, you'll see a lot of silly things in the game like that. You can't actually interact with them, it's just a little thing there to make you laugh. Anyway, so, in the last episode, I finished all of the Vale of Andrath quests. And I'm supposed to talk to Chief Watcher Grimbrier again.
How can I be of service?
So he still doesn't trust the Rangers, even though some of his people are starting to say that we should ask for their help. I mean, this dagger is decent, so I may use it. It's a bit of an upgrade from what I'm using currently. Alright, and so I need to swap this other dagger to my offhand. There we go.
Stay a moment.
Alright, so he's still saying the Rangers can't be trusted, but there is a hobbit named Adso Haybank outside of Bree, and he needs help with brigands. Okay. So that pretty much will take me away from doing quests here, right adjacent to Bree. So the other thing I'm going to do, I've gained a few levels in the past couple of episodes. I'm up to level 17 now. So I'm going to go continue the epic quest line. So I still have the Shire prologue. And these are the only two quests I have currently, is the one that I just picked up, and the epic prologue. So now, the epic prologue that I have currently, it's sending me to talk to Barlam and Butterbur at the Prancing Pony, and that will move me into book 1 of the epic quest. Now the epic quest line is this massive quest line that you basically do for the entirety of the time that you're playing, and it more or less parallels the story, or it's kind of like a side story to go along with the story of the books, and it weaves in and out of the story that's told in the books, where you meet up with some of the main characters here and there and interact with them, and then kind of go off on your own adventure. But your adventure is usually to aid them in some way, some indirect way. Alright, so here's the prologue.
One thing drives out another.
Alright, so if you remember, Hauros, I believe it was Hauros, sent me here to talk to Strider. So, excuse me, it's a lot of pollen has come out today. I'm a little congested. So he's telling me where Strider's room is, basically. Now, that just finished the prologue. I still need to pick up the forward.
There's so much to do.
So this is essentially beginning the epic quest. And he's also got this other quest here.
One thing drives out another.
And this is just a vector quest. This quest will just send me to Buckland to do quests in Buckland. Now, almost all of the quests in Buckland take place in the Old Forest, so I'm not really going to bother with most of those. But I will go ahead and complete the Vector quest. I believe I mentioned in a previous episode that the Old Forest quests, which are mostly out of Buckland, I really think are best experienced yourself. So I'm going to skip most of the Old Forest in this episode. Or in this series, rather.
Your tidings are grim.
Alright, so this is Strider.
There is little time to waste.
Alright, so he thanks me for the message from Radagast. Now you may remember Radagast was in the tutorial for Bjornings. So, and I don't think Radagast comes up again after that. See, Bjornings are supposed to do the human prologue in Archet and Combe. Not go to the Shire, but I went to the Shire instead. Alright, so Strider knows exactly who I am, and is glad that Grimbjorn has decided to send his kind to help. So he gives me a little summary, and this is basically what happens in the human prologue. You discover that the 9 riders are abroad, which you also do a little bit in the Shire prologue, but much more so in the human prologue. My friend Amdir was taken by the Shadow, and I fear he will become a wraith. That is one of the main plot points of the human prologue. Amdir is one of Strider's rangers. Alright, so he wants me to go to a camp, with him, and kill Amdir, because Amdir is becoming a wraith. So, it's very sad, very grim, but it's necessary. So, I'm just gonna let you get a good look at Strider here, one of the main characters from the books. We'll be seeing lots of him.
Are you ready to leave?
Alright, so this is an instance. A private instance. The epic books tend to have a lot of them.
Strider and the Rangers pursue their fallen brother Amdir to the Blackwolves' camp, but not all is as it seems.
Alright, so there's a bunch of other Rangers here.
What do you need?
And a lot of times you can, during the epic quests, you'll have NPCs with rings like this over them, the silver rings with a feather in them, which just means that they've got a little something extra to tell you. And sometimes it's really interesting, and sometimes it's just, hey, go talk to someone else.
There is evil afoot.
Alright, so he says that he can feel an unnatural chill because of the presence of Amdir, but also a greater evil than Amdir. So there's a lot of scripted action like this in epic book quests, where you see NPCs talking to each other, combat that you can't really change the course of, because the story is, unfolding before you, essentially. Alright, so now I'm supposed to go with Torthon.
Are you ready?
And we'll make a two-pronged attack on the camp here. So these are some old Arnorian ruins, and there's a bunch of brigands in there. These brigands are running out. They're actually scared of something. And look, this brigand is here cowering. He's not even going to attack me. See, and there's some brigands running away. So if the brigands are running away, you know, they must be really scared. Because these brigands have been attacking the people of Bree for a while. Alright. So, see this one here, not only can you see that she's, you know, trembling, but also her morale bar is yellow, which means she isn't going to attack. These will attack, though. Okay, so he just threw down caltrops, which is an area of effectability. If I stand on this, you can see it will do damage over time to me, dot, and also slow me. And you can see the red outline, so when you see an enemy drop something like this, you want to get out of that area as quick as you can. Alright, also notice this isn't an escort quest, but you can see Torthon here has a morale bar, and he does take damage, and I can heal him. And I believe the quest would fail if Torthon is defeated.
Silently now. Darkness approaches.
Alright, so he sees it, but he's not telling me what it is. He's going to see if he can open the gate. Some more Blackwalds, some of them trembling. You can go attack those, but I'm just trying to get this over with quickly. And so I'm not attacking the ones that aren't hostile. Alright. So here's Skorgrim. Now Skorgrim is the main villain in the Dwarf and Elf prologues. So if you play through those, you would know what's going on with him. And so he's questioning this Blackwald here, who isn't telling him what he needs, or what he wants to know, and so then he just killed him. So, and Skorgrim is working with the Blackwalds, so Skorgrim is killing his own men. And then Skorgrim summoned these barrow rats and this white. So that is very disturbing, that Skorgrim has the power to summon whites. It's a very bad sign. But they are no match for me and a ranger. Alright, and that triggered a deed, both the White Slayer deed and this lore deed, which I'll talk more about later. It's a lore deed that I can complete in the Barrow Downs, and I'll do quests over in the Barrow Downs at some point.
Stay a moment.
Alright, Torthan doesn't know who Skorgrim was. And he also comments that he had the power to command whites. But he says he also senses something greater than Skorgrim here. So things could get very dangerous up ahead. Also, I forgot to mention the dread effect I had earlier, but as soon as I get another dread effect, which I think I will very soon, I will talk about it. Uh-oh. So there are 5 Nazgul here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so they're performing a ritual to transform Amdir into one of the Kargul, the Forsworn, who are a kind of wraith. They're not as strong as the Nazgul, but they are still wraiths. Alright, and so the Nazgul sends this man, who I believe is a man of Angmar, Aogan, to attack me while the Nazgul get away. But of course we defeat him easily. And here is Amdir, now reborn as a Kargul. He swears that he will serve the Great Eye. Alright, so we have defeated Amdir the Kargul. But he was no longer Amdir anyway. Alright, so Amdir put a dot on me, but it's not going to kill me, so I'm not going to worry about it.
It's a sorry day.
Alright, Torthon is very sad that we had to slay Amdir because they were friends.
It's a sorry day.
Alright, so this will take me back out of the instance.
The Nazgul have crossed the Eisen and are heading for the Shire. The hobbits must be quick-footed enough to escape the wrath of the Nine. And we can only hope that Frodo slips through the traps of the enemy.
So sometimes when you finish instances in the epic book chain like that, you'll get a little video basically explaining where you are in the storyline of the books. I think it's pretty neat, and it lets you know what else is going on in the world.
Alas for Amdir.
Alright, so Strider is also mourning for Amdir. Alright, and he's also mentioning that the Nazgul have crossed the river, which is what happens in the books. The whole thing about Amdir does not take place in the books. That's something that the game made up. But the Nazgul crossing the river and moving to Bree land does take place in the books. Alright, so he's got some rewards for me. I could take this cloak, which is actually definitely better than the cloak, the Postmaster's cloak. Agility is not all that useful, and morale is. I could take these medium gloves, but they have fate, which is better than agility, I suppose, and these gloves are light. I could also take this. I might do that. Yeah, the cloak doesn't really look very good. But it is better than what I have. I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll pick up better armor elsewhere.
I have a task for you.
Alright, so that instance was Chapter 1 of Book 1 of Volume 1. It's not showing it yet. Alright, so he's saying he doesn't know who Skorgrim is either. If I had done the elf or dwarf prologue, I would have a bit of an idea of who Skorgrim is, but I didn't do that on Hvila. Dwarves usually can't be dominated by any other's will, so this is very unusual that a dwarf is serving Sauron. And he's very troubled by the appearance of the Nazgul. So he wants me to go to Combe and speak to the constable there named Underhill. If I had played through the human prologue, I would have already encountered Constable Underhill quite a bit. Okay, so he will give me some other quest. Alright. Getting some lag here.
What road did you take, Frodo? The ringwraiths ride openly in the Shire, but there are places which are even more terrible and dangerous. If you choose the path I fear, search for the light in the darkness.
So that's another, little peek into what's happening in the books at that time. At this point in the books, Frodo and the other hobbits have gone into the Old Forest, and Gandalf is looking for them and can't find them. Alright, so it sent me to Combe. So I'm no longer in the Prancing Pony in Bree, I'm in Combe. I'll show you on the map. Here's Bree, Prancing Pony is right about here. Chief Watcher Grimbriar's cottage is right about here. I'm now in Combe here. Alright, so this is a lower level area, so like there's all these quests here.
Might I take a moment?
See, but they're all like level 9 or around that level. So I'm not going to bother with any of these. This is an area that I'm skipping. I'm only going to stay here long enough to do the epic quest. However, that is all the time I have for this episode, and so tune in next time to see what Constable Underhill has to say. See you next time, Niblings.